Okay. Oh, good evening, everyone. Happy summer, I guess, because we have a few people out in the audience. But before we begin, action resulting from closed session, we're happy to report that the superintendent received a positive evaluation. We would like to begin the meeting at, see here, 7:16. I'd like to recognize one of our board members from CS Arts as in the audience, Genevieve Spinella. She's here. And I'm going to have to say, Steve Hernandez is one of our favorite fans out there who comes to our meetings practically every time. So, all right, so roll call. Mr. Bell?
Present.
Dr. Finley?
Present.
Ms. Diaz?
Present.
Ms. Hoageen?
Present.
And I'm present. Flag salute. Genevieve, would you like to do the flag salute?
Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
Rosa, would you like to do our beliefs?
Yes,
Our mission and vision and mission.
thank you. We believe we are a community of learners. We believe learning occurs in a culture of caring and respect. We believe all students are motivated to learn when they are engaged in meaningful work that connects to their lives. We believe expectations do influence performances and outcomes. We believe learning increases when there is a high expectation for performance and conduct. We believe we have the responsibility to find solutions that enable all students to learn. Vision, 21st century schools producing 21st century students. Mission, provide the knowledge, skills, and inspiration for each student to succeed in college, career, and life.
Okay, thank you, Rosa. Okay, adoption of the agenda.
So moved.
Yes, motion by Mr. Bell, second
Second.
by Dr. Finley. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we've come now down to the superintendent's report. Do you have anything to tell us?
Thank you, Madam President. Just want to extend on what Board President Carroll said. You know, happy summer. It's passing by very, very quickly, and what happens customarily during the summer is a lot of preparation for the next school year, and that's what our staff has been doing. There's been lots of planning. There's lots of strategic thinking that's been happening, but most importantly, a lot of our staff, students, and families are enjoying some rest and rejuvenation time, which is really important to then come back in the fall and do some really, really important and meaningful work. I want to take a moment just to thank the board for your continued support and confidence in my leadership and the work that myself and our team is doing on behalf of the students, the families, and the community of Duarte. It's a privilege to serve at this school district, and it's a privilege to serve this community. There's lots of work that's happening, and it's going to be a very, very busy fall with strategic planning happening, with infrastructure and construction happening in the district, welcoming our scholars back, looking forward to all of our back-to-school night and parent engagement opportunities. There's just a lot of things that are happening that are really, really positive for our school district. And so on behalf of myself and the executive team, we just want to say thank you to the board for your continued leadership and your steadfast commitment to the positive direction that our district is moving. And that's what I have for this evening. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Dr. Amerson. Do we have anyone who's coming up for a request to address the board today? No one? Okay, we'll move on to 10.1. Approve the minutes of the regular meeting of June 29, 2023. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
By Mr.
Second.
Bell, second by Ms. Diaz. Discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Approve the consent calendar. The next item of business is adoption of the consent calendar. Does anyone want to remove any item for separate discussion or action? I see none. If
Sorry,
none-
I
oh,
did have, I'm just seeing if it's under the consent calendar. It's about the Metro Pass. Is that under the consent calendar? I'm trying to.
okay.
Yes, it is. That is item number 11.
11, yes.
Number 11. Okay, so we go to this line right here. We had an
Correct.
objection. Okay, so we had an objection from board member Mr. Finley to the approval of the consent calendar with the discussion of item E11. That item being moved to the, okay, so, so that item is being moved to the consent calendar shall be considered individually under separate action.
Correct.
Is there a motion to approve the consent calendar with the exception item E11?
So move.
By Mr.
Second?
Bell, second by Mr. Finley. We have now, okay, so, discussion on that?
Yeah.
Mr. Bell?
So you can take your vote now on the consent calendar with the exception of item number 11.
Okay,
So that your vote now will say we're passing everything with the exception of 11. We'll discuss that thereafter.
okay, so we are now considering, okay, item with the exception of E11.
Actually, Madam President, you can just call for a vote because you have a motion and a second
Okay.
on the balance.
Okay, so do we have a motion, except for item 11, to?
So moved.
So move, okay, by Mr. Bell?
It's already been moved and seconded.
So Raymond,
Oh, we have
yeah,
to-
It's
all
already
in
been moved and
favor,
seconded.
aye.
Okay, okay,
Aye.
all in favor? Okay,
Aye.
there we go.
There you
Aye.
go.
Thank
Now
you.
you're good.
Okay,
Now you consider item number 11.
okay, now there is motion, okay, so now we consider item E11. Is there a motion to approve item
10.11.
E11?
Just for the record, just to make sure we have it all accurate, it's item 10.11
It's
off of the.
10.11,
Yeah,
okay.
10.11. Sorry, to clarify, it's 10.2.11.
Okay,
10.211.
10.2.11.
Yes, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you, Mr.
So I'll motion to approve item 10.2.11.
211.
All right. Dr. Finley
Second.
seconds. Third. And who was the second on that?
Rosa, I believe. Oh,
Ray-
was Mr. Bell? Okay.
No,
Ms.
Oh,
Diaz.
Diaz, sorry. Okay,
All right,
Discussion.
so I wanted to, I guess, express my gratitude for this program that we have. So I appreciate that this is something that we can offer to our students again this coming year. I was just wondering, I guess, two things. Number one, if we know what the process will be for at the student level with their passes, how those get renewed, and then if it's going to be possible that we could make some announcement of some sort to the students as to how they go about renewing these, if they do have to do anything at all.
Mr. Crosby, you want to address this?
Yes, thank you, sir. Yes, in the beginning of the year, we were planning on the first week of school. I know last year we had a little later start to hand them out. That we'll be making a note if they still all have their cards, that they will have a new code to put in, and that they'll be given that code to be able to do that. If they do not, if they have lost their cards or do not have their cards, then they will be able to come up and receive a new card. We don't want to give everybody a new card if they already have one, but they'll have a code to do that. And we're planning on the first week of school to be able to push that out to our students. Because the first year, when we did hand it out to all of our students, we had a much higher usage rate than we on the second year when they just had to renew their card.
Great, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
any other questions?
I have a question. Do we know the rate of kids that are actually taking the opportunity to use their bus passes?
Mr. Crosby or Ms. Bell, whoever has that data.
In 2021, 2022, our first use of it, registrations were at 706, and active riders were at 316. In 2022, 2023, it dropped registrations were at 218, and active riders were 195.
Thank you.
Well, before we ask the board to take a vote, I don't know if you guys have this, or if we have to ask us some follow-up questions, but is there any way to ascertain, so those 95 active riders, where there's a way to quantify how much their riding would have cost them if they didn't have their pass? Do you follow what I'm saying? Like, so if they took 10 rides, and those rides were $3 each, then that would have been $30. I don't know if there's a way, because it's free, because they just have their tap card, but I don't know if there's a way to quantify how much.
I think what we would have to do is estimate them on a daily rate if they're
Gotcha.
using them or
Okay.
not.
Okay.
But what the data we got from is that they're active riders, meaning they've used it more than once. I don't know if we can get from Metro how many times
I
those
got you.
individual users used.
No, that's helpful. It was kind of a shot in the dark kind of
Yeah.
question.
And one other quick question I just was thinking about was, I think when we had Metro here a couple months ago, they were talking about the changes in the route and whatnot.
That was Foothill.
Okay, Foothill
That was not
Unity.
Metro. That was
So I think
Transit.
they said that they were going to be implementing that around September-ish, if I remember correctly. Do we have an update on that, if they are implementing that? And if they are we going to be able to share that with the community, or do we have to rely on them to get the word out about that?
I can get the information from them. Personally, I'm on their board. I can get you that information, and we could present that out to our community for that.
Awesome, awesome, thank you.
Yes.
All right.
I have something else.
Tiffany
Oh,
has more.
Tiffany has a question.
There was a report in 2021, but we can get more data. This was an old report I pulled up. It said the average ride per enrolled students at that point was only 2 times. And so that's the data we had given prior to tonight. We can go back and get additional data, but that was the last time that we had it. So 2 rides.
So just to clarify, you're saying the average student took 2 rides?
2 rides.
Okay, got it. Thank you. That's helpful.
Okay. Moving on. Okay, call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. 11.1, public hearing of California School of the Arts, San Gabriel Valley Material Revision to Charter. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing for item number 11.1?
Move to open?
Mr. Bell?
Second.
Second by Ms. Diaz. All in favor?
Aye.
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 The public hearing is now open. Do I have a motion? Okay, so does anyone have any, I guess, want to speak? No? I saw you raising your hand. Okay.
Could you, Madam
Yes,
President?
go ahead.
If you could just share with us what that means, how do we get to this place? I mean, I think it's kind of interesting to know
Okay.
where.
Actually, if, just, since this is just a public hearing, we just want to go through the process of asking if anybody from the community wants to speak with respect to the public hearing, but we will absolutely do that on item 11.2.
Gotcha.
That's where we'll give the context.
Perfect.
Got it. So I guess since we see no one coming up to speak, okay, so do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Move to close.
Second?
Okay, first by Mr. Bell, second by Dr. Finley. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. 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 11.2, material revision to Charter of California School of the Arts, San Gabriel Valley. Do I have a motion?
So moved?
By Mr. Bell, second. Do I have a second?
Second.
By
No.
Ms. Diaz.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
So would you like me to lead off with a little bit of context on this one, Mr.
It
Bell?
would be nice
Okay.
to hear.
All right.
It would. It would.
Okay, perfect. So I'll start, and then I'm looking at Dr. Hillman, who will help me out a little bit. So this conversation goes back some ways. as the board and the community will remember, we authorized the charter school partnership with CS Arts back in the 2016 to 2017, 2017-18 school year. And as a part of welcoming CS Arts to our community, along with that was an innovative partnership that included having our 7th and 8th grade students be enrolled at Duarte Unified School District, but also be able to take part in the CS Arts Conservatory program. So we have had that in existence since the inception of the charter back in 17-18. We've always been thinking about and exploring ways to expand on the partnership in a number of different ways, to develop deeper relationships, deeper connections with our students and their families. And a major component of the 7th and 8th grade program is the ability to have students join our district and join our community from outside of our district boundaries. And so every time when we do our preview presentation at our preview days, we always will highlight and share just how many students we have coming to attend our CS Arts program from neighboring districts, neighboring school communities, and quite frankly, we've had students coming from multiple counties traveling here to be a part of this program. Well, actually just prior to the pandemic, we thought about, would it make sense for us to expand the program to not just be 7th and 8th grade, but what about expanding it and having it be truly that middle school grade span, which is 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And that wasn't the way the program started, but we thought that that was an interesting opportunity to expand. We put that on hold and on pause because this global pandemic was upon us, and so. But we continued the conversation with CS Arts and our partners, and so over the last several years, we've been contemplating this opportunity and contemplating what would be the benefits and what would be the opportunities that would exist from this. And so where we've now gotten to a point is to bring forth to you all with a recommendation to do a material revision to that agreement to expand it to have and include 6th grade. This would be in effect not for the 23-24 school year, but in fact this would be in effect for the 24-25 school year. And there's a lot of reasons why we want to do it this early. I will turn it over to Dr. Hillman just to talk about some of the ideas that we have for what the benefits are of this, and then also why the timing of this item at this point in time. Dr. Hillman.
So to add on to what Dr. Amerson has already set for you, this has been a conversation that we've been initiated in, and certainly hearing from parents too, as they're coming and interested in having their students enrolled, especially those that are coming from another district, they're coming from the surrounding communities or communities further along. The middle school program typically on many schools starts at 6th grade. The way that it was set up prior, or has been historically set up, is that our conservatory program starts at 7th grade. Making that transition for a student who's already started 6th grade at a middle school in their home district, and then making that transition to 7th grade can be challenging for a student at that age. There's kind of got to know their friends, got to know their routine. 6th grade seems to be the more natural break, meaning that you have a student enrolled in elementary school, and then at 6th grade is a time where people might be looking for new opportunities for their students, which for us here in Duarte, we're welcoming these families from other districts. It increases our enrollment and increases interest in our schools, brings lots of people into the community. So the net effect would be essentially to have students in the conservatory program coming from 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, really getting kind of an on-ramp for them to then, they would matriculate into the CS Arts high school at that point. But that would give us a full 3 years with the students in our program, in our academic program. So the advantages is for both the students, for their experience. Middle school is a time of a lot of transitions, as you all know, who have middle school students and been through that, but having that time where they come at an earlier grade, right after elementary school, and getting them sort of integrated into our program, we feel is a benefit to the schools. It increases our enrollment as well as the students' experience.
Okay, board, do you have any other questions or would like to say something?
Yeah, I don't have questions as much as if there's a possibility, if you could share with the board if you get any statistics regarding, you know, just this transition. It just would be good to know.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that there are a number of different pieces of data and that we have tracked over the last several years, benefits, enrollment trends, patterns, locations where students are coming from, intra-district transfers in, out, so on and so forth. That's all data that we have that we could provide to the board as a part of your decision-making process.
Dr. Emerson, the last time that I remember that that you share how many, from how many cities, different cities, our students come to CSR was like 47 cities?
Actually, more than that. So the number we have quoted in the past, and it fluctuates in and around this number, is 86. Wow. 86 different cities across 4 different counties.
Wow.
Yeah, between LA County, San Bernardino County, Orange County, and Ventura County.
That's good to know. Good to know.
So I have, I guess, a couple questions, comments about this. You know, as Dr. Hellman was talking about sort of this important transition that happens as you're kind of going from elementary school into middle school. You know, when I was a student here, I went K through 6, and then the middle school was 7th and 8th grade. So I don't know when the shift for a lot of schools to go middle school being 6th, 7th, and 8th. But I was just thinking about how difficult that initial transition was, and so I'm certainly can understand sort of that importance of capturing those students at kind of that pivotal time. I jokingly say that if you can imagine all of the awkwardness of a first date and bottle that up times 100, that's basically what I was in middle school. And so I think that there are a lot of positive aspects of exploring this, this expansion of the joint arts program. And I think there's a lot for us to talk about and explore with this personally. I mean, I think I'm one of those people that is probably a little bit of an over-prepper. And so I like to talk things out and logistically know how things are going to work, and how are we going to handle extra students, what is busing going to look like, and all of these things. What is this going to mean not only for the 2024-2025 year, but what is it going to look like 3 years after that, 5 years after that? How are these kids going to be distributed amongst our separate academies right now? So I think that there's, I'm receiving positive vibes about this, I'll say. But for me personally, I would like to delve into this a little bit deeper. I don't know how the rest of the board feels about this, but I'm really kind of interested in hearing more about some of the benefits that there would be to the district. Me personally, I was going to motion to table this item, have a study session before our next board meeting in August, and then go ahead and vote on this then. That is something I wanted to put forth to the rest of the board and see what you guys thought about that.
Okay, so I was going to put my sense in too before this. So I'm like Nadia. I find it to be very beneficial for the reasons that to fill up the classrooms too. We get kids from other districts, and that really helps us with our ADA. But also, CS Arts has become very competitive in the higher grades. So bringing them in younger, they have more chances of getting through and staying all the way through the high school. Which is, once you get to the high school level and want to, audition for it, it becomes very competitive. So it's an easier way, in a way, to have the kids experience the school by going through the younger grades versus going from the top. But for me, I see it as a win for our district, and that's how I feel, just for the sake of, we need kids in our district for sure, and this is a way to, if we can gather them and bring them in, and we have a great district, and maybe Some will even stay in our district and go through to our schools here with their siblings. We always have that thought that that will work out, and we have our parents having all their kids here in our district. And we all have different things in all our schools. So it will work for one kid, will work for another in another school. So that's how I see it. How's the board thinking, Raina or anyone else?
I was thinking that what would be if we approve this tonight, and can we still have a study session? Because I don't see anything negative, but I seen more like studying. Dr. Finley wants to know a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I wish we had this before, to kind of prep us with all the information that we need. I don't see anything against this if we approve tonight, but how do you see that having the study session after being approved?
So my sense, and I think that the very first thing that I heard from Mr. Bell was some additional analysis and some additional data and statistics and information. What I'm not hearing from the board, at least that's not my sense sitting here on the dais, I'm not hearing an unwillingness to support this. I'm hearing an unreadiness to support this. And a couple of things that I know that Dr. Hillman was really, really mindful of with respect to this item was kind of the timing and the time frame. We brought it to you now for the express purpose of navigating this process, and whether it's tonight or it's at a future board meeting, navigating this process with enough time for us to appropriately notify, market, and essentially put out to the world that, hey, we're expanding this program that you all know currently to support 7th and 8th grade, but hey, by the way, here's another unique opportunity. And to the point that I believe, I'm trying to remember, I don't even remember Board President Carroll just said, it is getting more and more challenging to get into CS Arts at 9th grade. Almost impossible. There's just too much demand and not enough seats. So what we have been encouraging for the last couple of years is come earlier. Come in 7th grade, because that's your easiest chance of entry. 8th grade, it gets more challenging because all those 7th graders are matriculating to 8th graders, so there's fewer 8th grade slots. And then all those 8th graders are matriculating to 9th graders, makes it even less 9th grade slots. So we're thinking, hey, how do we open up a whole nother slot at 6th grade? With that being said, on the timing of this, and thinking about this, and I don't want to overstep, I'm looking at Dr. Hillman to ask, if the board tables tonight and we come back and do a study session in early August, does that in any way impede our ability to effectively work with our partners at CS Arts to communicate marketing, information that needs to go out from any kind of communication with the community and with families that would be prospective for our preview days starting in October?
And that's what I would like to share, is that thank you for pointing that out. This is early, right? It isn't until the following school year, but really, we as partners with CS Arts start recruiting early. The recruitment process starts pretty much in August. So my understanding is, I appreciate the request for all these data points that we can certainly get and bring to the board for a study session, and turning it around so that we can do it before the next board meeting. Seems likely that should be able to, I work with CS Arts to see if we could kind of fold that into the timeline. Our first preview day with CS Arts is early October, typically the first, and I know they do quite a bit of advertising prior to that, so I would think we just want to hold off until we get this final approval.
So with hearing that feedback from Dr. Hillman, I would feel comfortable advising the board that if you want to take that extra time and pause and want us to come back and do that comprehensive presentation, we're well within our ability to do that.
So
Okay.
sorry, I was just gonna. I mean, personally, I think this is a great idea. I just want to know more about it. So that's kind of where I'm coming from, and I think a study session would allow us to do that. And as long as it's not going to interfere with the timeline of the preview days, because having attended those before, those are phenomenal events to go ahead and showcase not only CS Arts, but our entire district. So I think as long as that's not going to interfere with that, I'd really like to dive deeper into this so that, you know, as we as board members, as we're talking to the community and someone says, hey, I heard you guys were going to do this, we can, you know, confidently say, yes, for this reason, this reason, this reason, we really think it's a good way for our district to go. So that's sort of my 2 cents on it.
And we're hoping to do this before our back-to-school nights, for sure. Is that the plan?
So I would push us pretty hard and pretty quickly to have that study session in early August. And then we can even delineate, we can deliberate on whether we take action at the study session or take action at the next regularly scheduled board meeting. My strong suggestion to the board would do the study session with no action and then take action at the next regularly scheduled board meeting. I think that is the smartest and most transparent way to do the process.
Okay, board? Okay, go ahead. Ms.
I would not be able to be here for the next meeting, board meeting. So,
But would you, board member Diaz, would you be able to be here for the study session if we do it in very early August?
I think I will, but I will ask, if you allow me to ask, Dr. Finley, what is your main concern for us to have that? It is like transportation, it is like the cost of, dispenses, all that stuff. What is the main?
Yeah, so I think I think concern is a little bit too strong of a word.
Okay.
They're not really concerns. It's more, I want to know, I want to sort of virtually kick the tires on this and see like, okay, what does it mean to actually do this? I mean, I don't know. When we say we're opening up to 6th graders, I don't even know how many kids that is. I don't know what that means. I mean, where do we have capacity for them? Where are we going to put them? Are they going to be divided amongst 3 different schools? Valley View currently is a K through 6. So do those 6th grade students get to participate, or are they not included in that? Like, there's just things that I would like to know about that I don't know about at the moment. So I'm just kind of curious about those things. Again, not concerns. They're just, I want to make sure that I'm voting with all the information in my head.
Okay, understood.
So in order to operationalize this, because you have a motion and a second already to approve,
Correct.
you can vacate that motion by making a substitute motion, and that substitute motion can be a motion to table.
Table, okay. So I guess we'll do another motion to, since if it's the willingness of the board to go through this or to go ahead to make a motion to move to table this item till the next meeting or the next study. What was it? What would you say?
The language just needs to be a motion to table the item.
Okay, motion to table the item. Do I have a motion for it?
So I would motion to table
Okay,
the item with a follow-up study session and to bring this back to the next regularly scheduled board meeting in August.
Okay, so we have a motion by Mr. Finley first. Do you have a second?
Second.
Okay, any opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, we'll table it and all in favor, okay.
Yeah, so just to
Motion carried.
clarify, for the members of the board, so we have tabled this particular item. We will not need to come back and do an additional public hearing because the public hearing was already held tonight. We can then come back and do a comprehensive presentation at the study session. And then hearing the motion was very, very clear that it would be tabled to the next regularly scheduled board meeting, which will be August the 18th.
Okay,
Right, 18th? Yeah, August the 18th.
August,
Thank you.
thank you, Dr. Emerson, for clearing that up. Okay, all right, so this has been tabled. 11.3, Notice of rights and responsibility of parents, guardians, and students for 2023 to 2024 school year. This is just to receive for information the notice of rights of the responsibility of parents, guardians, and students for the 2023-2024 school year. Item 4, Duarte Child Development State Preschool Program Self-Evaluation 2022-2023. This is to receive for the information the Duarte Child Development State Preschool Program Self-Evaluation. And then item 5, Back to School Night Calendar 2023 to 2024. I guess you should be asking if there's any discussion on this too.
Well, they're just all received for
Yeah, receive for information. And we know that those are going to be happening quite soon because it's literally around the corner. So believe it or not, school's starting soon. And item 12, Business and Finance. Item 1, Resolution Number 1, 2324 for Evaluation Protection Account EPA. Do I have a motion
So moved.
by Dr. Finley? Second? By Ms. Hoageen? A discussion? I just have a question. Can you explain this item a little bit more? I know it's something that I guess happens every year. Can you explain again what this item to the public?
Yes, I think Ms. Bell is getting her microphone ready over there.
Ms. Bell.
Go ahead, Ms. Bell.
So it's the education protection account, and it's just a third revenue source for increase in taxes. And they give us this money, and it's up to the board's discretion as to how we spend the money. But it cannot be spent on administrator's salary.
I guess your mic gets really, do they always
And
give you the
Mercedes
same
said,
mic?
"Check it before
Do they
you
always
order
give
it."
you the same mic?
This is a little
We
bit of
need to-
hazing going on here.
No,
It always-
no, I got it. Testing.
There,
All right, now.
there we go. We can hear you now.
Okay. So it's the educational protection account. So it's the third revenue source, and it's from tax increases. The board's discretion as to how we spend it. We cannot spend it on administrators' salaries or benefits. So usually it's for something for a classroom or instruction. And that's what you usually vote on. So it's another revenue source. Remember when we talked about economics last month, and it was about taxes? So it's tax increases
But this money is coming from where?
from the state.
From a state. Okay, it's the state money, but it's regulated in its own little,
Correct. And
Okay.
Ms. Bell, clarify for us, this is a regular routine. We adopt this
We adopt
resolution
this
every year.
and it has been since 2012.
okay. Thank you.
You're
Any-
welcome.
Any other questions? No? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. All right, we come down to item 13, our non-agendized item. This is basically the end of the meeting, except for what we have to say. So, let me see, Mr. Bell, have anything to add or
Nothing.
say? Nothing?
Nothing.
Ms. Hoageen? Nothing? Ms. Diaz?
Yeah, it is a very nice summer, and I would just like to hear, instead of making comment, how was the summer school? That's what I like to hear about it. And
Dr. Hillman.
thank you.
Well, summer school was, it was now in the past. So we did, through the month of June, we served over 1,000 students, K through 12th grade, a variety of programs that we had this year. Our elementary students had an opportunity to be engaged in some enrichment classes, as did our middle school kids. We had a regular special ed, extended school year, which we always have every year. We were able to fund this program through the Extended Learning Opportunities Grant that we get from the state now, which also helped us extend having care and enrichment throughout the full day, so students could stay after summer school all the way till 5 p.m. We had part of the conditions of funding for the ELOP program is we had transportation provided because we were consolidated the students at one site, so we had a bus running. That same camp extended into July for another 6 days. And also during our summer school period, we had some classes at the high school that were offered for credit, both for credit recovery, a few classes that would help students sort of clear up their schedules for the fall, so they had a little more room for other classes. And then early college classes were also offered over the summer. So over 1,000 students, many employees were involved. It was really a great opportunity, and had lots of phone calls from people from out of district wanting to join. And I said, sure, if you want to enroll your students in our schools, you can.
All the way.
I don't know, is that the wrong thing to say? I don't know if that's okay to say that in public, but that
No,
was...
because it's the law,
It's
actually.
the law, and we're happy to welcome families to join our district, and then this is an augmented program for those in the summer. So we're really pleased and thank our staff for all the hard work that they did to provide really fun and exciting opportunities for kids.
Board Member Diaz, do you want to know how much of a stickler that Dr. Hillman is to the law on this? She told me no, that I couldn't have my kids come to summer school here. I'm being dead serious. Am I not being? I'm being dead serious. She really did. She really did.
I'm being called out right now. And
For the positive work that you do.
Dr. Hillman, I just want to know how much pleasure you took in telling Dr. Amerson no.
I have no problem saying no.
Well, I just like to say thank you on behalf of the board for all your professional way to manage everything in the school district. I think that Dr. Amerson has an amazing leader group with him that they can really perform at 100% even when he's out. And I think also, I don't want to miss the opportunity to say thank you to all the effort and time that Mercedes put in to deal with all of us. Because when the superintendent is not in the office, we don't have no problem to reach to her. And if she cannot resolve our issues, then she look into the three right persons over here. But I believe that it was a great opportunity also for the teachers to, this is the first time that is not under OFL, the summer program, or second time. And I think it is doing an amazing job and a good opportunity for the teachers to continue with their students too. So thank you very much for all the effort that everyone put into that. That's it.
Okay, Dr. Finley, have anything to say?
So I will echo what Raina said about Mercedes. I was running a couple minutes late to the meeting, and I said, I'm on my way right now. And she goes, are you, I work at City of Hope. She goes, are you walking? I'll come and pick you up. So she is so super kind, and so I really appreciate everything that she does, along with all of Dr. Amerson's team. They're just super great people to work with. I don't have a whole lot to say other than this summer school has been great. My 3 kids were part of that 1,000 kids that were served over the summer, and I think they were served exceptionally well. I think they really enjoyed their time, and my youngest, who was leaving 4th, going into 5th grade, he just kind of did it for fun. He was, he had an arts class and an English language arts class and loved it. Got to go down. He was really excited to, he normally attends Valley View, but he was really excited to get to go down to Beardsley because he had never been to school there. So he was excited to go to a new campus and everything. So I think if for no other reason, to consolidate these classes down to just a few campuses, it's great because everyone gets to see, how awesome the whole rest of the district is, because, you may not know if you just go to your one school and then go to the high school, you don't get to see how great the other academies are. So really pleased with the way summer school turned out, and I am with my kids enjoying the summer, and I cannot believe that school will be starting, I believe, 3 weeks from today. So that's kind of hard to believe that summer went so quickly, but we will enjoy baking these last 3 weeks in the sun.
In the sun. Okay.
That's right.
Not baking.
Not baking. We will. I mean, I'm sure we will be eating baked goods, but we will be eating them while baking in the sun.
Okay. I'm going to echo what everybody else said. We do have an amazing team. Dr. Emerson has an amazing team, and Mercedes was great working with us with the evaluation. A lot of patience working with us, but otherwise, is it bad to say that this year I'm actually happy that I'm not going to be worrying about taking kids to school in the morning. My first year. I mean, college is different. My son will be going to Citrus, but that's only like 3 days a week, not 5 days a week, and it's in the afternoon. So I don't have to get up early now, but I don't have much to say either. It's just enjoy the next 3 weeks before school starts. I'm actually looking forward to back to school nights. It's a way to get to know parents and see the teachers and everyone there and the different sites. And you're right, every site is a little different. So that's all I have to say. Get back to you.
All right. Thank you, Madam President. Just a couple of concluding thoughts. I wanted to just call out just really quickly and say thank you to Genevieve Spinella. So Genevieve may or may not remember, but at my superintendent welcoming reception that you all did, like she's one of the first people that I met, and her willingness to serve, support the district, support the work that we're doing, and now being on the board at one of our most critical partners, just appreciate your leadership and your opportunity to serve. And then also just want to say to the team, there is something really, really special and important to me when I know and I have full and total confidence that I can go away and unplug and be with my family to recharge my battery so I can come back and serve. There's something knowing that I have 3 top-notch leaders who can help support me. And I jokingly said, I think when I came back, I don't remember who I was talking to, but I literally said, yeah, when I showed up, the building was still standing, the lights were still on, the air still worked. And the point is, is that I'm just reminded that, and I say this with some levity, but some seriousness, I don't, this is gonna come out wrong, I don't mean it that way. I don't matter, but I do. Because what I'm saying is, the most important people in our system are the people who are executing and doing the work, because my job is to think all day long, is to think about how to solve problems, how to anticipate issues and things like that. And I learned many years ago when I was a high school principal that if the principal was gone, school still ran. Just don't let the office manager, the custodian, or the lunch lady be missing. Because when those 3 people were gone, hopefully if all 3 of them were gone, there was anarchy. But if even one of them were gone, there was a tangible change in the way that the school was operating that day. The chi was off. It was off kilter. But I say that now understanding that I have a really quality team, and so I want to look at them and say thank you to them. Look at Mercedes and say thank you to her, because it really does make my job that much easier to service you all and service this community, because we have a quality team, and I'm very fortunate, and we're very fortunate to have good leaders. So with that, thank you, board, for your continued support, and I look forward to our next school year. Thank you.
Okay, so we come to the last part of the meeting, adjourn the meeting. Do I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So moved.
By Mr. Bell, second.
Second.
By Dr. Finley. All in favor? Aye. All in favor? Okay, motion carried, okay. Okay.